Yeah. Make Billy Napier $26 million richer. Get him the hell away from this program.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day, even the bad ones. I am Brandon Olsen. Florida Gators, nothing short of dominated at home, and almost coughed there. That sucked, man. I can tell you that watching that game, the first offensive play, I was watching the game with a few friends, saw the first offensive play for Florida. And I said, this game's over. He's doing the same stuff. Billy Napier is getting paid $7.3 million to be horrible at his job. Oh my God. Yeah, there's no other way to put it. It's embarrassing. It's pathetic. It's pitiful. Because here's the thing, it's not just the losing. It's that every time you lose, you look pathetic. Every year, like we talked about this a lot on the show of how public perception wise, Florida looks horrible. And it just continues happening. It just keeps going. So it's not just the losing. It's that you lose, you look like a clown, and your team, I mean team in general as in specific players, but your team just looks bad. And here's the thing. I feel like when we can talk about individual player evaluations, I feel like I was spot on with a lot of guys, right? Wasn't a big fan of Arliss as far as being a tight end. Wasn't a big fan of DJ Douglas. Wasn't a fan of Damian George, even at right guard. Still thought he looked horrible. But there's still a lot of talent on this team. Genuinely, that receiver room is a good receiver room. It's just a damn good receiver room. Hayden and Tony Livingston, I think they're both good tight ends. I think defensively you've got a lot of question marks, and I don't think that Billy Napier is capable of answering them. And hey, look, like I've said, there's people in the chat. I see multiple people in the chat talking about how they said Billy was horrible, and it's like, look, I'll give a guy till year 3. I was bought in on kind of the process, but man, stinky. There's just no other way to put it. It was horrible. It was horribly coached football. And that's the thing. Every single week we go, well, you have to come out and do this. And they did. That was a backup quarterback. Okay, first off, I see someone say Armstrong was meant to be a linebacker analyst at Alabama. He was hired to be the linebacker coach. So let's get that one clear. But man, like, this was a backup quarterback that just hung 33 on you. Florida this year at home against Power 4 programs has been outscored, what, 74-37? 74-37. If you combine Florida's scores from their first 2 Power 4 home games, they still lose to Miami, and they barely beat Texas A&M. This is it. I honestly don't think it's ever been, and we've seen some really, really bad teams. We've seen some really bad coaches. I don't think it's been as bad as it currently is. I need Billy Napier fired today. And those of you that have been here for a few years, those of you that have been around, what's up, Timon? Those of you that have been around, those of you that have been around for a few years, those of you that know me know that I really don't take it lightly to come out there and say I want someone fired. I don't like doing that at all. But the fact of the matter is, year 3, he's proven he's not capable of running a competent SEC program. Okay? Again, I really don't take it lightly to say that. I hate doing that because I know, like, I hate when people get mad at me for saying something on my show and they want me fired. I'm like, yeah, that's livelihood. 2 reasons why I feel capable of saying it. 1, I don't think he's capable of improving and capable of putting this together. And 2, I get fired, I need to find a new job immediately for pay. He gets fired, he gets $26 million if he's fired without cause. Which honestly, I don't care. It's not my money directly that's going there. But it's just horrible football. And that's the thing where I don't know what the hell he's even doing. I don't know what he's doing as a coach. I don't. I look at this team and there's a lot of guys that I've been very critical of. Again, like a lot of players, I feel like I've been critical of. I try to be respectful with my criticisms, but that I've been critical of. And they're out there playing consistently. Like, it's just terrible. Billy Napier was booed off the field as he walked back to his locker room. Good. But there were a lot of guys that again, DJ Douglas, I wasn't super high on. Arlis Boardingham, I wasn't super high on as a tight end. Looking at Damian George, even at right guard, I thought he was bad in the spring game. Cam Waits, I've been saying I never really saw it with him. Justice Boone, I've been saying I never really saw it with him. Tyreek Sapp, I said I never really saw it with him, but he's been improved. There's a lot of guys that have been improved and that deserve to be on the field wearing their logo. But there's just, for a guy that talks about the scared money don't make money, the process-oriented thoughts, the process-oriented principles there, all this stuff that he's pitched to us has been complete and utter bullcrap. It's just been terrible, horrible. The Aggie kid said, "I'm sorry you guys are going through this. Your offense has fight, but keep your head up. Pray for Kiffin. I'd be happy to." Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you. Congrats on the win. But and this game was never going to be an easy game. Even crossover Thursday, I picked Texas A&M to win this game. And a big part of that was this Texas A&M offense. Colin Klein is a dude as offensive coordinator. This Colin Klein offense, this Texas A&M offense, that run game is killer. That run game's explosive. That run game is schemed up great. I said, Colin Klein reminds me of young Chip Kelly in the way that he draws up the run game. It's sick. It creates explosive plays. And they just pummeled Florida. Pummeled them. They had, I for some reason, it doesn't even say the yards per carry there total, but it's 5.64 yards per carry for Texas A&M. Like I said, that run game was what scared me. That run game is what killed you. The passing game wasn't great either. Passing game isn't great either, but that run game was killer, and that's what we expected to. And man, it stunk. Montrell couldn't get going to save his life. That was horrible. That offensive line here, and this is one of those things where we talk about, and I say, there's plenty of players that I've had question marks about, and that are still out there. And there's Jason Marshall Jr. I was never very high on. I've been very open about that. I think he's played all right this year. He's still got some things that are not good. I also think he's better suited to the nickel long term. I think that's where he'll play at the next level. But there's some guys that don't belong on that field. Damian George, Cam Waits do not belong on the field. Brandon Crenshaw Dixon was a big whiff in the portal. That man cannot hold his own. And here's the thing, despite all that, despite seeing the offensive line suck, despite seeing, and I'm sorry, I just said the offensive line sucks. A good part of the offensive line sucks. Okay? I'll say that. By the way, I said earlier this week, the funniest possible outcome is if Toledo, the school I went to, beats Mississippi State, and then next week Mississippi State beats Florida, Toledo is currently beating Mississippi State. But yeah, this is just this is the most brutal that it's been. Again, I expected a loss here. I didn't expect you to get pummeled into absolute oblivion. And that's what happened. I understand you lost 33-20 and you can go, oh, well, it was pretty close. You lost by 2 touchdowns at home to a backup quarterback, a redshirt freshman quarterback that was making his first start, if I'm not mistaken, for a team that hasn't won a hasn't won a road game since 2021. Texas A&M came in, they scored a touchdown. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I need to see who scored Texas A&M's first touchdown, because it was obviously a long time ago at this point. But Texas A&M scored their first touchdown, and it was Theo Mellon-Orstrom. And I don't know if you were watching when it happened, but he ran through the end zone and started gator chomping and throwing down thumbs down. Billy Napier has made it where opponents come into the swamp, kick the living crap out of you, and let you know about it every step of the way. I think we've reached the point where we can accept he's done. He's kaput. I don't care what anyone says about, well, what if he ends up winning 8 games? I don't care. Done. Kaput. Like, he could go ahead, win 8 games. Toledo's up 14-0 now. Go ahead, win 8 games. I will still be sitting there saying that you do not deserve this job. You do not deserve this opportunity. It's embarrassing. The current state of the program that we've had right now, that we're watching right now, that we're looking at, and we're sitting here seeing and saying, and it's just embarrassing that as a program, that's where the Florida Gators are. That's what they are. They are Texas A&M with a first-year head coach. Obviously, he's been a head coach for first year at that program. Stepping stone. I still don't think Texas A&M is a very good team. I don't, and that could be wrong. Like, right, we could see that. I think they're on par-ish with Florida, but they just came out and kicked the crap out of you. You came out and ran the same junky. I almost said a word that would probably cause me to lose my job. But you came out and ran that junky offense behind that bad part of the offensive line specifically. I can't say it. And yeah, like Elijah Badger, Chimere Dike did a great job. Marcus Burke got missed on that one. So that ball early to Marcus Burke that was too high and he didn't come down with. Bad throw by Graham Mertz, but also that should have been a catch. I want to make that clear. Marcus Burke should have caught that ball still. You're an SEC receiver. You're supposed to be thought of as a few, like when you play in the SEC, you're often thought of as future NFL, right? You're an SEC receiver. You're a future NFL receiver. You should make that catch. And look, Montrell had a horrible day. Absolutely. I don't fully blame him. That offense, again, was predictable. None of the running backs played great. Tryon Webb, Jacoby Jackson played better than Montrell, but none of them played great. And so stuff like that, just this is a sad point as a program. And I see the chat popping off. I haven't seen what you guys have been saying, but you know how it goes. We will be getting to the chat for the rest of this show, which could be 5 minutes, could be 15. We'll see how it goes next on Locked On Gators. I'll tell you something about these afternoon games that are going to end, especially when there's a rain delay for 47 minutes, I think it was. They get a bit exhausting, right? I'm not going to lie. About halftime, I was like, you know what? Let me crack open a 5-hour energy. Let me get ready to go. Because that's what you need, right? Whether it's you doing a long list of chores at home, I got a honey-do list tomorrow before the NFL games, or if it's me going live to talk about how Billy Napier does not deserve to be the head coach of the University of Florida anymore, 5-hour energy is the way to go. Zero sugar, convenient, portable size. It's the perfect pick-me-up for getting stuff done. You go to 5hourenergy.com. That's the number 5hourenergy.com and get some 5-Hour Energy product today. Use our promo code LOCKEDONCFB to receive 20% off your order. Go to 5hourenergy.com today. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel. I still made decent money from the game. Elijah Badger receiving yards was beautiful. He was at 61.5. I altered it up to 70 to get it a plus money, and it cashed. Montrell Johnson touchdown did not cash, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Something a little different for you today. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial for NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com to download America's #1 sportsbook. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day, we are available daily and free reviews in the podcast and on YouTube. And we're going to get to the chat. Gonna scroll up a bit and just read through some. I see a Go Toledo from Thomas, and so I will accept a Go Toledo, and that is where we will start, and we'll scroll down and see what we get there. Billy hasn't said anything yet. I started this the second that game ended. I'd hope that Billy is in that press conference right now going, you know what, University of Florida fans, players, I am sorry. I failed you. That's what I want him to do. I want him to apologize for this. That's how upsetting it is. I want him to apologize for this piece of crap that he just put out there, because that was terrible. Yeah, he does need to be fired today. Good job, Bradley. He needs to be. Honestly, halftime could have been like, hey, brother, get on out, pack the bags. You're done. You're done for. Sorry. Okay. All right. I almost read it, and I almost Ron Burgundy that message there. I almost Ron Burgundy that message. Yep, Napier's allowed a first happen. Absolutely unacceptable. Opponents no longer fear the swamp. It's not even that they don't fear the swamp. They straight up disrespect the swamp. They straight up disrespect it. They come into your house and they kick the crap out of you, and then you go in a press conference. Well, they've got a really good team. Mario's doing a great job over there getting his guys ready. That Cam guy is great. While Mario's over there doing the Gator chomp and breaking it over his knee, and the Miami players are, oh, come on, the Miami. That's the kind of coach we have. That's it's not that they don't fear the swamp anymore. They don't even respect it. Like there's levels to things, right? You could fear something and not respect it, all that. None of it. Billy Napier will speak to the media soon, and that's probably around the time that we'll wrap this up, because I need to watch that so I can be in the chat. Yeah, I can tell you now, we're going to start talking about Billy Napier being fired. If he's not already, and if he's not tomorrow, we will be talking about he needs to be. Florida makes everyone look like a Heisman. Yep. Ray Davis with the Bills now. But yeah, Ray Davis looked like a monster, 300 yards, never came close to repeating that kind of production there. But again, I want to say, I think that there are a lot of players on this team that are good football, genuinely good football players. Good football players. But man, this team Billy Napier is not capable of getting guys ready to play. He's not capable of getting guys ready to play, not capable of running an SEC program. And it's as simple as that. Elijah Badger is an absolute, you nailed it on the head there. But come on now. I can only imagine that. Imagine being a parent there. Imagine being a parent and your kid is playing, he commits his time and he's like, hey, you know what? For the next 3 to 4 years, or 3 to 5 years even, I think this is the coach that can get me to the NFL. This is the coach that can do it. I believe in his messaging. And that's what he's doing every week. That's what he's doing. He's playing guys ahead of you that have no right to play in general. But that's what he's putting out there. And I don't mean talent-wise. I mean the effort things. I'm never going to let go of the Damian George, Cam Waits interception play. They shouldn't be playing, but there they are starting. Damian George's captain next week. Come on now. And I will say this because I see a lot of the chat, what they're talking about is who or when the firing will happen. I can tell you from what I was told, it's not a factor of if. It is a factor of when. And I know that there's some people who genuinely believe before this game, next loss, he's done. I don't know if that's true. Again, that's just some people have that I've spoken to with a pulse have genuinely felt that that's the way. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I believe that. I would do it. I do think that a couple of things. One, maybe look for a reason to fire him with cause, and so you don't have to pay the buyout. Two, double check that you can get all that money for the buyout, because the way his contract works, he's going to need it relatively sooner. He needs half of it, I think, immediately. So you got to figure that out as well. Figure out, like, also one thing you can do is just figure out the coaching plan beforehand. Go, okay, this is our short list. This is guys that we think we can realistically get. You can figure those things out before you even fire Billy. And say, hey, we've got to be ahead of the curve things. Early signing day now is December 4th. You don't have that long time to build your class up if you're hired in late November. You don't have that. You've got a few days. So there's things like that where a lot of logistics go into this. And I think that there's a lot of people who want this change. I think everybody expects this change at this point. I don't know how soon it happens, but I'm fully anticipating the announcement to come at some point. My guess, bye week. I feel like bye week, especially in college football where you get 2 bye weeks, I feel like the bye week is a pretty good time to make that move. Like, regardless of you can go, hey, regardless of what happens at Mississippi State, we're going to get rid of him. Sunday, he's gone. You get 2 weeks of prep with whoever the interim is. Which I've been told who the interim will likely be. I don't know how I feel about it, so I can't give you an opinion. But yeah. That's rough. I agree. Napier should just straight up resign. That's an embarrassing performance repeatedly. It's just horrible. As far as I see people asking about Mississippi State, I see people talking about Mississippi State. I'm torn on that game because offensively, they're very similar to Tennessee, and like that's Jeff Lebby's thing. And Florida put Tennessee in a box last year, and so I'm like, well, you're bad, but I saw you do this last year. So I'm torn on that game, but I'm not confident. Someone has said something about an interim and is correct for what I've been told. You can take that how it is. You can confirm your own prior if you feel like it, but I think I think that person should know who they are. I'm a big fan of theirs. I'll take Chip Kelly right now. I don't know about that one, but I'd take it. I feel bad for Hayden. How hard is it going to be to come up with nice things to say about Napier? I don't even know I don't know what to say. I feel bad for him every time we have to talk after an ugly loss. I don't want to talk about it by the time we get to Wednesday, but we have to. 64 years old and speechless. Nothing to compare this to. This is the Twilight Zone. It's horrible. It's horrible. Yep, I want to make that clear. I also don't care about losing recruits. I don't. Because kids are going to come and go regardless. Get a coach that'll get those good players or keep the players that you want to keep. It's rough. We are going to wrap this up. They're getting ready to go live on the Florida Gators. They're getting ready to go live on the Florida Gators YouTube channel with Billy Napier. So we're going to wrap this up. And look, I know that no one is happy with how things went, but the fact that Florida just got stomped by Texas A&M at home and there's 360 people currently in here, 25 minutes deep, that will never get old. I mean, I know I do this spiel a good bit, but it's just genuinely, it'll never get old to me. And And I appreciate having you guys to vent to and talk to and hang out with when things get rough, like things are apparently going to be a lot this fall. So it'll never get old on me. It'll never get old to me. And I thank you so much. And I appreciate every single one of you. But Gator Nation, things will get better. It's just a matter of when that will actually happen. But thank you. And I will see you all next time.